Russia responds fiercely after Ukraine launches Storm Shadow missile attack. National Assembly debates 3 draft laws on education. Positive signals from tax management for business households.
Hello, so good to see you again in today's news. I'm Hoàng Yến, and here we go, the first headline of the show. On the morning of October 22nd, explosions rocked the capital Kiev and many other Ukrainian cities as Russia launched a large-scale airstrike against Kiev.
The attack occurred shortly after Ukrainian forces launched British Storm Shadow missiles at the Bryansk chemical plant, which produces gunpowder and rocket fuel for Russia. Witnesses reported hearing a series of explosions, believed to be from Ukrainian air defense systems operating to intercept drones and missiles. The mayor of Kiev confirmed that air defense units made efforts to repel the attack targeting the area. However, at least one fire broke out in the city. Russia's attack also caused damage to critical infrastructure in other regions of Ukraine. Regarding Russia, the Ministry of Defense stated that air defense units shot down 57 Ukrainian drones over the Bryansk region.
The South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff said that this morning, North Korea has fired multiple short-range ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan. This is the first missile launched by North Korea in 5 months since South Korean President Lee Jae-myung took office.
The South Korean military said that the launched objects were short-range ballistic missiles fired from the south of North Korea. From Tokyo, the Japanese Ministry of Defense said that North Korea's missile launch did not cause any damage. Immediately after receiving information about the launch, new Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi directed the country's Ministry of Defense to quickly collect and analyze information, take measures to ensure security and safety for Japan, and said that it will cooperate closely with the U.S. and South Korea in dealing with North Korea's missile tests. The missile launch comes a week before South Korea hosts the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC Summit, from October 31st to November 1st.
As part of the 10th session of the 15th National Assembly, deputies listened to proposals and verification reports on 3 draft laws concerning the education sector. The 3 bills include the draft law on amendments and supplements to several articles of the law on education, the draft revised law on higher education, and the draft revised law on vocational education.
At the working session in the hall, the National Assembly listened to the presentation and review reports on the above draft laws. Next, the National Assembly discussed in groups. The National Assembly delegation of Nghệ An province expressed their agreement with the amendment and supplementation of a number of articles of the law on education, saying that the adjusted contents are necessary and suitable for practice. The delegates said that the high school graduation exam should be abolished, because this exam has long had a dual goal, both to consider graduation and to serve as a basis for university admission, but the 2 goals are contradictory. Therefore, the delegates propose that when passing the amendment and supplementation of this law, it should be stipulated that students who complete the high school program and meet the requirements set by the Ministry of Education and Training will be granted a high school graduation certificate without having to take an exam.
Upcoming are some updated news.
At the Vietnamese Embassy in Japan, the Vietnamese Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development collaborated with the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries to organize a conference to promote investment in high-quality, low-emission rice areas associated with green growth in the Mekong Delta. The event was attended by more than 150 delegates, including over 70 Japanese businesses interested in investing in green agriculture in Vietnam. At the conference, the 2 sides signed numerous memoranda of understanding, opening up multi-layered cooperation models from research and technology transfer to practical investment. Cooperation contents focused on AI, big data, agricultural robots, mechanization, carbon emission monitoring, deep processing, and the reuse of rice byproducts. This is a concrete step forward in the agricultural cooperation relationship between Vietnam and Japan, contributing to promoting green growth and sustainable development in the Mekong Delta region.
In response to the requirement to accelerate socioeconomic development, Nghệ An province is drastically directing its departments, sectors, and localities to resolve difficulties and speed up the disbursement of public investment capital for 2025. Accordingly, a public investment task force has been established, requiring investors to commit to monthly disbursement and update results every 10 days so the province can provide timely direction. Concurrently, Nghệ An is reviewing and adjusting its medium-term public investment plan, converting capital sources appropriately, and prioritizing urgent projects and natural disaster recovery. Currently, 2 key projects are being closely monitored. The Ung Hi Son, Qua Lo Coastal Road, which is expected to complete asphalt paving of the entire route before December 20th, and the Hanoi, Vientiane Expressway, Vinh, Thanh Thuy section, which is currently finalizing investment preparation procedures.
In just the first 9 months of 2025, Vietnam's coffee exports reached $7 billion, a record high, up 62% compared to the same period last year, and the full year is projected to reach the $8 billion mark. According to the Vietnam Customs, in September alone, the country exported over 81,000 tons of coffee, valued at $462 million, an increase of more than 60% year-on-year. This result affirms Vietnam's position as one of the world's leading coffee exporting nations, opening up new prospects for Vietnamese agricultural products in the international market.
Despite continued economic difficulties, budget revenue from business households in the province has still recorded positive growth. This result not only shows that the production and business activities are recovering, but also reflects the effectiveness of tax management efforts. This is a welcome signal, making a significant contribution to the budget balance and affirming a transparent and modern tax administration system. More in the story today.
Implementing Project 420 of the General Department of Taxation, in 2025, the Provincial Tax Department reviewed and added over 15,600 business households to its management scope, increasing the lump sum tax by over 2.6 billion VND and collecting tax arrears and penalties of more than 900 million VND. Nearly 1,300 key business households had their revenue adjusted up by nearly 6 billion VND, resulting in a tax increase of over 1.7 billion VND. Nearly 80% of business households have used eTax Mobile. 928 households registered for invoices from point-of-sale (POS) machines, achieving 75% of the plan. Thanks to these efforts, tax collection from business households in the first 9 months of the year reached nearly 270 billion VND, contributing to domestic revenue surpassing 50% of the estimate and increasing by 20% compared to the same period.
The tax sector will strengthen inspection work, expand the scope of tax collection, as well as enhance the recovery of outstanding debts and ensure transparency in tax management to further improve tax administration.
To implement the project converting the tax management model and methods for business households upon abolishing the lump sum tax, and to continue executing Project 420, the Nghệ An Provincial Tax Department launched the 30-day campaign with the goals of achieving 100% of eligible households registering for and using e-invoices generated from POS machines, 80% of households in difficult areas, and 100% of households in the remaining areas installing and using the eTax mobile application. 100% of lump sum tax households with revenue of 1 billion VND or more transitioning to the declaration method before November 30th, 2025, and concurrently making ready preparations for the transition of all lump sum tax households to the declaration method starting January 1st, 2026.
The upcoming transition to the declaration method is also an inevitable step for us to conveniently manage revenue sources and budget contributions.
We will continue to review the database in a more detailed, stringent manner and closer to the actual business situation of the business households. Increased budget revenue from business households not only makes a significant contribution to local budget balancing, but also reflects the effectiveness of transparent and modern tax management efforts. This is the foundation for building a fair and sustainable business environment, thereby promoting socio-economic development.
Now is the end of the show today. Thank you so much for your attention. Goodbye for now.